Hello everyone, my name is David White, producer, maker of A Dark Time, and this first little intro sequence I took inspiration from me watching horror movies as a kid and growing up, and I just really like how the TV simulator plug-in or effect can be used on different things like this, throw in some negative or reverse shots to where it kind of like makes everything look a little different, different color, black and orange to like a white and a blue, with a nice little orange backdrop, kind of get a weird warm feeling. I decided to add the numbers in there, like math equations, scientific equations, to kind of bring the story together about it being a scientist that's doing everything. Then some pictures of some trees and stuff, kind of like peaceful, but like with the TV simulator effect, kind of makes it kind of uneasy, a little different. Added this little orb, circle, portal looking thing to really mess with and kind of grasp more of like the actual time travel part of the story itself. This first scene, I wanted it to show that the scientist was looking into stuff. He had double laptops with different equations, different blueprints for historic representation of time travel. Like on the computer, I figured the inspiration for that one came from the old time travel movie. I think it was like from 1986 or something. And the device, I wanted to make something that was kind of basic, but at the same time would look like something that a lot of people don't really mess with. Showing that he's really concentrating on trying to make sure his math is right. Everything should be working right. This part also had about 3 to 4 sound layers so that it could add more to the device starting up or anything. Right here, I just wanted to be a little kind of silly, kind of pay homage to kind of some comedy horrors like the Scary Movie series, where scientist is in a hurry, he's trying to get up the stairs, he falls, gets back up, a little bit of comic relief. I wanted to use this shot, I wanted to use a lot less dimmer light that I had set up in there to kind of give it kind of an overcast look to where it was more darker, more mysterious. I had to keep lighting it up though, because making the film and writing everything out, I was trying to think of a lot of other of the class subjects that we've gone through and talked about. And also see that through the film, I also decided that I wanted to get tons of different angles with different cameras to kind of see how they would work together and how they would put the story together. I wanted to show complete active movement and how much actually moving room to room without actually having to move the camera room to room with the character, that we just have a setup. The hallway scene, that setup of the doctor walking through, this was a little fun one to mess with. We had to change the lighting quite a few times. All in all, we had to redo this scene quite a few times because my wife, the actor that's on the ground, decided that it was really funny for me to just walk past her, I guess. There's a lot of scenes where she didn't want to be a part of, so I had to try to make angles work around it, still telling the story without her having to be in frame. Then we get to the bathroom scene where, for the first time, he's about ready to use the time travel device in this bathroom, and I had to think this process through so much. I still wanted to use all the cameras, get different angles to see how they would work together, to anywhere from trying to make sure I had the right kind of background, the dark and everything from the outside light, but also to be used and twisted so that I could work the effect in on this backdrop. Actually, and the behind the scenes stuff from directing class, you'd see me walk up to this wall and then just freeze and then quickly try to get out of frame for a couple more seconds just so I had the right footage that I needed to add the special effects in. The special effects was just a warp hole portal mix that I was able to kind of come up with using some Adobe After Effects or Vegas effects. Yes, the game room, guitar room, after the Dr. Daniels gets out of the portal. This one didn't take too much to work with. This one was mostly sound. How I had to work in having two of my actors talking in the other room on a different camera and recording device so that I could go in later for post-production, to where I had to add some effects for some like distancing, removing some like treble and everything so it sounded like they were actually talking through the wall, so that when the door is open, I had to add a couple more effects to where you could hear stuff a little more clear and know that the two characters were talking. That was a very fun little thing to mess with. Once again, you can see I'm trying to use multiple cameras to get different angles with a consecutive roll of just the action and the movement of the whole film itself. As well with this audio, kind of wish that those other cameras were a little more customizable, so when it looks so fuzzy, but they were also both 4K cameras, just a little more on the cheaper side than what we use for our school projects. The scene with the two actors on the bed, Blake and Victoria, these guys were really cool. These are good friends of ours that we've had for a while, and not having the funds to hire actors, I asked them if they could help with this, and we can obviously see how unexperienced acting they are, and I wish there was a way to refilm these two before one of them deployed and the other one had to change their work shift, because we can all kind of agree that they are obviously reading off of their script. We can see it in their glasses. Wish I could have approached this a little differently. Try to ask them to improvise and everything else, but they wanted to stick to the script. So I had to work with that one pretty hardcore on everything. And I try to use some decent lighting, try to get some boxes in the shot that show that they possibly just recently moved in or gone through stuff. And then the hallway shot, this one took quite a few shots as well to try to get the exact right area. With all these different cameras rolling, I wanted to get all the shots that I had in my head together and as less takes as possible without having to reset everything up. So we used some ambient lighting, that's just regular house lighting. And then obviously you can see that Dr. Daniels walks back down the hallway with the other cameras that we already had set up to kind of keep that movement flowing. Kind of narrowed it down. I think I might have changed the field of view a little bit on the hallway, kind of make it look a little more uneasy. And then we get into this next room. And this one here, Dr. Daniels starts having a guilt trip that I try to symbolize by showing like glitches and different colors, a variant with this effect. This was also a stereoscopic 3D additive effect to get the red and blues going, and then I had to use more of the TV simulator to really add a little extra fuzz in there. Doing this also helped me relieve some of the super obvious cuts, because obviously, he's losing his mind, and the audio on this part also was really fun to make. I think I had like 12 layers of audio for this one scene. I remember being on my 24-hour shift and spending like 2.5 hours on making sure all that audio like matched up and lined up just fine to where it would really suit the scene like extremely well. And yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of happy with this one. I feel like the sound turned out really good on that part. I just really wanted that ending sound part, that the deeper voice pretty much dogs on this doctor during his guilt trip to make him feel even a lot worse. But it was definitely a really fun audio file to make, create, and just kind of work with. The effects that was added for the warp hole and everything, I wish the software would have let me render the newer way that I put it in, but it just kept crashing and crashing, so I had to take it out. I had a more of a double portal thing going on, so it took up more of the room, but also like added some depth to it, so it looked like the tunnel actually went back and into the wall. But for some reason, Premiere Pro or Sony Vegas Pro, they just couldn't render the extra graphics, I guess. But I mean, it could definitely be a lot better. But I'm kind of happy how it turned out. You know, getting all the fade outs, getting the free shots, so that I could work with making the effects work completely. My credits, I also had a lot of fun working with the exterior shot of the house. I decided to create a little more extra customization to the closing title sequence that I used before, added a few more effects to it, and then overlaid it to this video here to give it that really like dark, eerie thing. I tried to color grade it to where it was a little more like uneasy. We could see that it was kind of happy and some lighting, and then as the effects come through with the credits, it's showing more of like a darker thing, because now we know more about what's going on, what the doctor's going through, and what he's possibly in the future going to go through. So thank you guys for listening to this commentary. I hope you still found it entertaining along with my video. If you have any other questions or suggestions that you guys would like me to go over or to actually talk about more in depth, feel free to leave me a message and I'll reply to you guys, and yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day.